Okay, what makes a gacha game good? Alright, let's take a look. Big titties is okay. I mentioned that the most notable aspect of any gacha game out there would be the characters. Specifically the waifus. Just typing that out made me lose so much aura. Looking up the most popular characters of their respective games, you'll most probably... Don't slur! That's a slur! Looking up the most popular characters of their respective games, you'll most probably be met with a list that's dominated by female characters. And that isn't without a good reason either. Gacha companies love making female characters because they make bang. The amount of money I've seen spent on banner sales, that is a small country's food ration budget. What the and we, the consumers, love them because we always get parasocially attached and start romanticizing them to be real people in our heads because we are lonely and delusional. Or because we're just horny, you know, I don't make the rules. Point is, females are more lucrative than male characters most of the time. What with like 90% of the gacha player base being dudes. So it goes without saying that the gacha game launch plan would involve making the most diabolical woman you've ever seen the first ban in the game. I mean, it's launch day. The game's still new and exciting, so people are definitely gonna splurge a little. You know what with the whole honeymoon phase. So of course, Kuro Games launched Withering Waves with a male character. Wait, what? Despite all the pros of starting with a female character banner, that scared me. Despite all the pros of starting with a female character banner, Kuro noped out of that story route and decided to go with General Jiyan first. You think somebody in the dev team must have fat fingered a button or something because these faces seem wrong. But I beg to differ, you know. I've played my fair share of gacha games, and after reading about Jiyan's lore and just seeing how his character is presented in-game, I feel pretty safe in saying that very few characters in other gachas hold even a candle to the depth of this man's existence. Releasing Jiyan first wasn't a mistake. It was a statement.
Jiyan, I have a question for you. What would you have done on that day if you were in my position? The enemy we've been yearning to destroy is finally right before us. And now, you're asking me to sit back and do nothing because of some phantoms. There's no other choice. We must trample upon the corpses at our feet and push on. Keep barking orders. Keep fighting until every last one of those monsters is gone. General, help. Please, the retroact rain merely creates illusions of past events. My soldiers will not succumb to those hallucinations. I will not allow it. If tens, hundreds, thousands more of my men will die, so be it. As I see it, you're cut from the same cloth, you and I.
Perhaps we are indeed, General. I share at least one thing with you. I too will draw my blade to fight for what I believe in. But we should never build our victory on top of endless sacrifices.
After the insane reception the Dan Jin video got, I was planning on covering Chang Li next, since she just got released. And that woman just makes me sweat, man. I'm on my hands and knees. The only reason Jiyan won out over her was because of the pulls that happened on his banner. Okay! Nice, let's start the script. And I remember Jiyan standing out to me a bit. Mainly because he looked like Zhao as an adult, but whatever. And because his front-facing profile looks really funny. Put him in any other angle, cool, swaggy. Look him directly in the eyes. But also because he had no eccentric character traits. Like, okay, you know how... What the fuck? Like, you know, they add all these weird little quirks to characters so they gain some relatability or just stand out more in general. Like, Zhongli can't manage his money at all. Alpha is cold and pushes people away. Firefly has Ligma, I don't know. It's become kind of a staple for characters in these games to have that thing that they do. And if they don't have any standout traits, then they're probably not playable. Jiyan happens to be an exception to this though, because even after combing through his logs, I still can't point out any defining quirk, apart from the generic brave, kind, caring, you know. But even with the absence of a quirk or crazy backstory, Jiyan still manages to be an insanely endearing character. I mean, there is one mention of him having OCD, but I'm not gonna sit here and say his entire character and personality is just a mental disorder. Having an entire character be carried by the fact they have an ailment is kinda crazy. Rover, please, just move. Jiyan, I'm not gonna move anything.
Move it to that other side, Rover.
Jiyan,
Rover, please, I'm begging you.
What is wrong
Rover.
with you? You always do this. You always walking
Rover.
and ask me to move stuff around. I'm not moving
Rover,
anything around.
please,
Jiyan,
Rover, please.
I'm not listening.
Rover, I'm begging you, Rover.
Before Jiyan became the general of the Midnight Rangers, he actually used to be pretty big into studying medicine. Heck, his entire family specialized in it. But after having to fend off a bunch of tacit discords, most likely in some horrible event where he couldn't defend anyone, or even himself, he ended up ditching medicine altogether and started training to become a soldier. From being a pharmacist to becoming the reason why people are going to the pharmacist is crazy. General Jiyan falls under the mutant resonator class, with his tacit mark being located along the upper section of his spine. He's also got some growths along his left jaw that resemble long scales. Apparently. Your guess is as good as mine here, man. I have no idea what long scales are. Jiyan's forte awakening happened at the Yunwang camp in the Desert Rock Highland. The air currents around there ended up accumulating around his body for some reason and ended up forming some kind of lance. It isn't said why this air. I hate myself. Keep typing. It isn't said why this air specifically made his forte act up, but I don't think Kuro wants me to look that deep into it, so I'm not going to Lamau. Jiyan's forte involves the manipulation of wind energy, which he can use to create the lance we just mentioned, and he can also construct a teal dragon to help him fight. If that wasn't enough, Jiyan can also use the wind to analyze battlefield situations, and these wind analyses show an accuracy rate of 99.12% across multiple dynamic situations. I'll keep it a buck. If I'm pulling up to a fight with the squad and Jiyan is on the other side, hey man, kick me out once because I am not putting myself in that situation. The battlefield scan just feels like overkill. It makes sense, but like, imagine going to war with bro and he's actually good at war. Like, chill out, bro. His resonant criticality is pretty high. High stability frequency and low risk of overclocking. So all in all, Jiyan's come to grips with his forte pretty well. Even in his gameplay you can see this. The way he pulls out hard-hitting heavy type moves so quickly, and the way his dragon envelops his body without getting in his way. In fact, it moves with him. It's almost like he's one with his forte. The teal dragon isn't an extension of the fucking what is the word? The thingy. The resonance, the vibrations, I was gonna cook and then I was gonna cook them. In all honesty, the fact that Jiyan could easily operate as a lone wolf, but still chooses to work with the Midnight Rangers, makes him seem a lot more compassionate. His main goal is to keep others safe, not just get rid of the tacit discords. And I think that's a really neat character choice for him. Jiyan's got a pretty slick design overall if I'm being honest. The dragon-like yellow eyes mesh well with his teal color hair, and he's got a pretty good mix of army, general and traditional Chinese attire. He's wearing a modified Hanfu, but while the normal traditional Hanfus look more elegant and refined, Jiyan's only wearing half of his on the top, while the bottom is a lot less like flowy and fancy, which makes it seem a lot less more open and windy. You know, because he uses wind, so like it blows a little bit. I don't know, man. Underneath the Hanfu is a skin suit. No law reason why, bro is just freaky like that. He's got a cool golden brace of some kind on his right arm. I'm pretty sure that's inspired by like Chinese armor as well, if I'm not mistaken. It has like a dragon decal on it. And just some regular loose-fitting grey pants with a cut near the abdomen. So again, I don't know Kuro's cooking. I don't know what they're cooking. There's also a weird trend of belts, like everywhere. Wherever I look, 9 out of 10 times it's gonna be a belt. It doesn't look bad. It looks pretty swaggy, but just why so many belts? Why? Jiyan also has a safety belt on his chest, so you can ensure absolute safety when you sit on his face. His cherished items consist of his books on warfare, which must be neatly organized, a medicine box from his mom, which people saw him take candy out of one time and to give to kids, and now they're headcanoning that there's infinite space inside. I just can't, hello? And a special spot in Jinzhou where the sun shines over everyone's homes. Yeah, thanks Kuro, because that's an item. Jiyan's cherished items: medicine box, war books, the view of Jinzhou city. Like what? How is he can't keep that on him. It's not an item. Holy shit, what if it's a picture? I'm gonna sound stupid if it's a picture. Rover, as a pharmaceutical person, I happen to have worked in a bit of the pharmaceuticals myself, Rover. Jiyan, what is... And I can say without a shadow of a doubt that this is not how you consume, Jiyan, the herbs in the shop. Jiyan, hello? You know, I'm Jiyan, by the way. There was a tacit discord outbreak. Something that even veterans of the Midnight Rangers had never seen before. Everyone was tired and sore, and any morale left between the soldiers was quickly dwindling. All except one newly appointed general. All of you, prepare to fight. Whoa, what? Are you stupid? We're outnumbered. We can still retreat and protect the city. Choose now. Stand with courage, seize our chance, or run and face defeat. For centuries, the Midnight Rangers have held this pass without retreat. Or do you prefer to go down in history as cowards? This guy is crazy. Dude gets appointed as general and now he thinks he's God. Come on guys, let's head back. With the veterans gone, Jiyan's resolve remained unshaken. A plan was devised to meet up with the other station of the Midnight Rangers and launch a pincer attack on the discords. So he readied his Qingloong and he led his remaining soldiers to the other squad, never faltering once as he did, even when his tacit mark was flickering due to the excessive use of his forte. Like, come on, you can't tell me that doesn't sound so cool. Comrades pussy out and he's all like, don't care, still don't care. The fact that he didn't falter once at all, it just adds to the whole badass factor, even when he was overexerting his forte. Okay, which I didn't know that was a thing, by the way. Realizing this now, apparently the more you use your forte, you can like put strain on yourself. I didn't know that. That just makes it really like uncomfortable to think about, because some people's tacit marks are put in like really uncomfortable positions. Now, Jiyan is actually the youngest general in the history of the Midnight Rangers. His first noteworthy achievement was when he saved some soldiers during a tacit discord outbreak. At 15 years old. Like, okay, at some point you just have to be realistic. He became a general at 20. He's in his 20s looking like that. I don't even blame the veterans for running away anymore. What? He's so young. He became his mother's assistant at 10 years old. Reading through Jiyan's character stories make me feel like I'm not doing enough as a person. Okay, come on. Say what you want about age, but would you realistically let a 10-year-old dig around in your guts? Holy shit, I did not mean it like that. Pause. Even though he was pretty young, Jiyan's medical capabilities were far above average, even among his elders. Despite his popularity among patients, even Jiyan couldn't save everyone from the jaws of death. The last patient he couldn't save was a Midnight Ranger named Bei Wang. During the short time they spent together, Jiyan impressed him with his intellect, which prompted Bei Wang to eventually start sharing details about the Midnight Rangers' tactics and planning which... Fuck you! Put a comma there! Why didn't you put a comma there, bitch? Which prompted Bei Wang to eventually start sharing details about the Midnight Rangers' tactics and planning, which in turn led Jiyan to give suggestions and provide new outlooks to situations. The conversations would last for hours, and Jiyan could clearly see the determination in this man's eyes. So when Bei Wang died, Jiyan realized that the medicine could only heal so much. As he stood there, frustrated and sad, he decided he'd help people in another way. This passing awoke a fire in Jiyan, and that fire burns brightly till today. A little too brightly, I'd say. You see, As composed and unstoppable as General Jiyan seems, he still worries constantly if this constant back and forth with the tacit discords will ever come to an end. Worrying so much to the point that this fear became the fuel for a recurring nightmare of his. One where Jinzhou is engulfed in flames. The residents are crying out in pieces, and he stands out, chopping down tens, hundreds, thousands of monsters one after the other, but they just don't stop, and he keeps going and going and going. And then he jolt awake. And then I'd laugh because the text mentions how he has a resting bitch face. The last story mentions all the strange things that happen in the Midnight Rangers camps. Soldiers' injuries, suddenly receiving medical attention without them telling anyone about it. Departments with short funds receiving budget increases before even requesting anything. Problems would just miraculously be dealt with by some mysterious third party. It's Jiyan. He's on top of everything that's happening in the Midnight Rangers. He's so on top of everything that he just makes the calls in advance because it's that obvious. Of course it's Jiyan. I don't know why they made it like a mystery thing. Of course it's gonna be him. I really like the ending though. This is Jiyan, whose ruthlessness is reserved for his enemies, while his tenderness is shown to his comrades. Like, that line goes hard, that goes hard, that goes hard, Zaji. That goes hard, that's cool, Zaji. And now we are off script. Wow, we finished the video, yay! Okay, we've officially reached the point of the video where the thoughts will be rambling and you can be classified as a fan of the channel, because not everyone will just watch like roughly 16 minutes of content from someone they don't know and not enjoy it. Unless you hate watching. Why you hate watching? That was the Jiyan review. You know, I can say without most certainty that I do in fact like Jiyan. And I like his model and everything. He's a pretty attractive character. I'm into girls alone, but I'm not gonna lie, Jiyan be looking pretty fine though. He can get it. Jiyan can get it. I think I mentioned this a bit earlier in the video, but the reception that I got for the dungeon video was disgusting. All the metrics around that video were like shit that I get in a month. View count in a month. Watch time in a month. My guy, even the average view duration was higher than usual. So like, damn bro, I really hope like if this series picks up off the ground, we are in the World Cup. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that liked and commented, because I got a lot of those. To everyone who engaged with the video, thank you a lot. Thanks 100, thanks 1,000. You guys are awesome. Love you guys a lot. I don't know if you're at that base yet. If I overstepped, I'm sorry. Please don't lose affection points. My bad, that's my bad. I think I also mentioned at the end of the last video that if the series blows up, I might review characters from other gacha games. It did blow up, so that offer is still on the table. I'm mainly just doing this so like for that one person who watches till this point and he's like, I'd really like to see a, I don't know, freaking Blade review from Honkai Star Rail. And then I'd make that shit. I don't know, because they also have character stories and demos and shit. Whatever. Let's not jump the shark, because this video, like as I'm recording this, I don't know how the views look. So, hey, let me not jump to conclusions, you know? I've been Tremirry. You've been pretty cool. And this has been the Jiyan review. Yeah. Log in. Tell him you love him. You know, water his flowers. There's one voice line where he's like, if I die, make sure you plant this flower at my gravestone so I can witness the new world, shit like that. Don't do that. Make sure your Jiyan survives. Keep him alive. I don't know what to say. What if I just put like the beginning intro song at the end here, but it's a different part of the section? I just be like, oh, thank you guys for watching. And bye-bye, like and subscribe. I'm in your walls.